it's Ava Ocean here. Today I'm going to be reading you Stone Soup. This is what it looks like. Now let's get reading. I'm hungry. I'm tired, whined Molly. Don't worry, said Max. Our troubles are over. Look, I see a village just a few miles away. But we don't know anyone there, said Molly. Max thought for a moment. He said. You're right, but maybe some friendly villagers live there. Maybe they'll give us something to eat and a place to rest. Yes, said Molly. Most people are kind. Let's go. What Molly and Max didn't know was that these villagers were not kind. They were stinky and mean. Eek! Mr. and Mrs. Ratflink. Eek! Shouted their little baby too. Strangers are coming, yelled Mr. Ratflink. They'll want us to share our food and what we have with them. Eek, squealed baby Ratflink. Let's hide our food. Let's close our shops, said the butcher. The town banker hid the money and put a sign on the bank. Closed. The village innkeeper hid his room keys and put a sign on the hotel. No room. The farmer's wife hid the garden's vegetables. She closed the door and shuttered the windows. The townspeople hid carrots and corn. They hid potatoes and peas. They hid beans and broccoli, onions and herbs, milk, and soon there was not a bit of food in sight. All the villagers pretended looking hungry. But the time Molly and Max reached the village, there was no one around. Where is everyone? Asked Molly. They're probably inside having lunch, responded Max. Can't you smell something delicious? Yes, said Molly. It's coming from that house. Maybe they saw us coming and are waiting for us, said Max hopefully. But when Molly and Max got to the door, it slammed shut. Go away, shouted a voice from behind the door. Molly and Max walked up to a man who was crossing the street. Excuse me, sir, said Molly. Could you please help us? We've been traveling a long time. We could use a hot meal and a place to sleep. Forget it, said the man in a gruff voice. Molly and Max knocked on every door, but the answers were always the same. No food, no room, go away. What are we going to do? Asked Molly. No one here can help us. I have a feeling no one wants to help us, said Max. I think these people have hearts of stone. Hey, said Molly, that gives me an idea. Molly whispered her idea to Max. They rang the village bell. Bong, bong, bong went the bell. All the townspeople came running. What's going on here? Grumbled Mr. Ratflink. We only ring the bell when there's an emergency. Eek! Screeched baby Ratflink. There is an emergency, Max told everyone. There's no food in this town. So now it's time to make stone soup, said Molly. Stone soup? I've never heard of it, said the farmer's wife. Of course you haven't heard of it, said Molly. It's a secret recipe, said Max. Then we'll all have something to eat and none of us will be hungry. Well, said the villagers impatiently. What do we do first? Heat some water in a pot, Molly answered. When that was done, the villager said, What's next? Add some stones you scrubbed a lot, answered Max. Now the townspeople were really curious. Certainly, this was the strangest recipe they had ever had. They waited while Molly dipped her spoon into the steaming pot. They watched while she tasted the soup. She said. Stone soup is very good plain, but it would be even better if we could make the fancy kind. How would we do that? Asked the mayor. Sprinkle pepper, salt, and herbs, said Molly. Let it boil undisturbed. "I've those things," said the mayor's wife. "I'll be right back." She hurried with her pocket full of herbs and spices. "Oh, thank you," said Molly. She added the seasonings into the soup. "What's next?" asked the mayor's wife. "Drop in carrots, onions too. Let the soup heat through and through," said Molly. "But we'll have to do without carrots and onions," she sighed. "I have those things," said the farmer's wife. "I'll be right back." She came back with a sack bulging with carrots and onions. "Oh, thank you," said Molly. She added them into the soup. "What's next?" asked the farmer's wife. Molly replied, "Stir milk to make it sweet, add potatoes for a treat." "With milk and potatoes, it would be so much better." "I have milk," shouted the butcher's wife, "and the banker's wife has potatoes. We'll be right back." The butcher's wife returned with 2 buckets brimming with milk. The banker's wife came back with 2 baskets full of potato. "Oh, thank you," said Molly. She added them to the soup. "What's next?" asked the banker's wife. "Toss in meat cubes, let it stew, let it bubble, let it brew," said Matt. "Too bad we don't have any meat cubes," said Molly. "I know where to get some," said the butcher, excited. "I'll be right back." A short time later, the butcher returned with a huge chunk of meat, which he quickly cut into pieces. "Oh, thank you," said Molly, as he stirred the meat into pieces in the boiling pot. "What's next?" said the butcher. "That's a lot of food. Look at that huge feast, guys. Whoa. Oh, that's stone soup. Whoa." The next morning, everyone waved goodbye to Molly and Max. "How can we thank you for the secret recipe?" they called. "Share stone soup with everyone," sang the travelers. Stone soup recipe. Add some stone soup, scrubbed a lot, sprinkle pepper and herbs. Let it boil undisturbed. Drop in carrots, onions too. Let the soup heat through and through. Stir milk to make it sweet. Add potatoes for a treat. Toss in meat cubes, let it stew. Let it bubble, let it brew. Taste the soup, and when it's done, share stone soup with everyone. Okay? And that's all. Bye, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Give it a big thumbs up. Bye. See you later.